Oftentimes it can be intimidating to look at a blank paper or canvas, even when you know your subject, what you are going to draw, what you are going to paint. A lot goes into pulling off a successful drawing, and a good composition is essential to the success of that drawing. Hi guys, VICFRAYREART of VICFRAYREART here. I paint and I draw. In this video, I'm showing you a time lapse of this drawing of this adorable little girl. Like with other drawings, I had such a great time with this one. I tried a slightly different approach this time. I really focused on the element of composition in this drawing. You'll notice in the video that I used a grid. This grid is based on the golden section and I am experimenting with it. Once I get a better understanding of it, I will make a separate video as a tutorial. Additionally, I am creating a separate video that will focus on all of the elements of composition. For now, I will give you a little bit of commentary during the video. I hope you find some value in this video. If you do, consider leaving a comment down below and hitting subscribe if you haven't. Well, let's get on with it then. Thanks again for watching. Peace. I prefer to use tone paper. When I was enrolled in life drawing classes, I learned to use it. And since drawing sessions with a live model are timed, tone paper seemed like a faster way of drawing. The paper itself acts as a midtone. This grid that you see here is based on the golden section. I will talk about it in another video more extensively. I like to use it to help me with my composition. It helps me visualize where I can place features of the drawing in specific locations of the paper, and also as a guide. Here I used the grid to my advantage, and it was helpful in creating a more accurate drawing. I erase the lines of the grid as I go once I've gotten use of them. I create an outline of the drawing while keeping in mind the structure of the face. It's important to understand anatomy if you want to get more realistic effects in your drawings. You don't really have to know the names of the muscles or bones, although it does help, but a basic understanding of their location and structure is essential. I like to indicate where the shadows will go by using some quick hatching. Now I use a sponge to smudge the drawing to create another value. I can remove the smudged charcoal with a kneaded eraser to create that additional value layer. And this also allows me to give the drawing a softer feel. I usually begin with the eyes. For me, if the eyes are in the proper place and drawn well, I can achieve a better likeness of the person. From the eyes, I can then measure where the rest of the facial features are located. I move around the drawing a lot, adding some of the darkest values. This helps me compare my values to ensure they are correct. By the way, when you work from a photo reference, it's helpful to use a black and white version to help determine proper values. I use a soft paintbrush to spread the charcoal around the skin. You can also use a Q-tip for this to create that soft texture of the skin. I use a stump to work the charcoal into the paper. Through years of experimentation, I have learned ways to create different textures. For the shirt here, I allow the tooth of the paper to create dips in the drawing, where the charcoal doesn't fill it in completely. I just basically run the charcoal over the paper without much pressure. Hair should be thought of as a separate form. Rather than drawing individual hairs, you want to block it in as a separate shape and then add some illusions of strands here and there. You can actually create great effects by blocking in areas and then subtracting with an eraser for the highlights. If you notice, I didn't draw everything that you see on the photo. We aren't just copying the photo. We emphasize what we want and omit what we don't. In the reference photo, her hand is visible on the right side and there is light showing through her hair. I made the decision to omit the hand and the light showing through the hair. I felt they would have been too much of a distraction. These are things that you must keep in mind as an artist. The light shining through the hair would have created a white mark that would have been too distracting to the viewer, in my opinion. Now the really fun part begins. I love this stage of the drawing, not only because it signifies the last stage before completion, but also because drawing highlights is very satisfying.